record.
It's fine.
Okay, so guys, once you finish taping it down, you're ready for the next step. The next step is just to create your watercolor washes. I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to bring in, you're actually going to share with the person across from you this one, but everybody gets their own dishes, okay, for making their washes. Try not to, if at all possible, dip your brush into somebody else's wash unless you ask them and they say it's okay. And in that case, you definitely want to clear your brush by rinsing it pretty good before you go into that color, especially colors like yellow that get all muddy. I'm going to bring in a couple of these over here. I think I'm going to work with these colors. You've got basically any color that you need. If you don't see a color that you want, feel free to mix colors. I mean, what happens if you mix these two? Or if you want a more of a red violet, you can mix violet with red. It's totally up to you what colors you use. Like seriously, it's entirely up to you. So what I'm gonna do is create a watercolor wash. Now, I'm just gonna make it solid yellow. Now the key thing here is to not use too much paint. That's like the biggest mistake, because it's watercolor paint. A little bit goes really far. It's not oil, it's not acrylic, and that's why these are so small. So watch this. Literally that. I just kind of smeared it right there, and you're like, seriously, you're finished. And over here, I'm gonna make one out of blue. No, I don't see it there. I bet it's over here, and there it is. Okay, again, very small amount, just a tiny little squeeze, just like that. And I'm going to make, now you can make as many of these as you want. I think the more that you make, the better off you're gonna be. I'm not gonna make that many because this is just a demonstration, but you can literally fill these up with different color combinations, and you'll be better set to do your work, I think, if you do that. So again, feel free to make as many of these as you want. I'm actually gonna make one with this color here that isn't as pretty, but it might have a really cool effect. You never know. You never know. Okay. Get this one ready right here. All right. Now let's add the water. So how do we turn this into a watercolor wash? All right. This is how we do it. Dip into the water. You don't want to pour the water. It's just gonna go everywhere. You can squeeze the water out of the brush. Don't worry if you get some water on the table. It's not a problem. Clean it up later. This is taking me a long time. Try to go faster here. The idea is that you're not really controlling the paint. The water is controlling where the paint goes. There's another technique called wet on dry. That's wet paint on dry paper. We're doing wet on wet. We're doing wet paint on wet paper. Okay. This is taking a while, but that's okay. It's all right. Again, so remember, not too much paint is key. Now we stir. So when you stir, choose another brush. This is the one that we actually use to put the water on. This is this wide flat brush. So for mixing, choose one of these small ones and just kind of press down and you want to mix it. I don't know if you've ever mixed soy sauce and what's that stuff you put for sushi? Wasabi. So you mix the soy with the wasabi. You don't want big chunks of wasabi or else you're gonna burn your nose out, which I've done a million times. Now I definitely want to clear this yellow off my brush before I dip it in the blue. Otherwise, I've just made green and I've destroyed my blue. All right, that feels good there. Clear it out pretty good. Let's get into the blue. You notice how much water is in there. This is actually perfect for probably doing all 4 of these. The idea is that you don't want all 4 of them to look the same. I would switch up your colors, switch up techniques, because we're going to be using them in Photoshop. It's useless to have 4 of the same thing. All you really need is 1. As you know, in Photoshop, you can make copies of that one, and we definitely don't want the same colors, the same techniques. Right, so we're going to stop the video there and come back. I'll have a